A girl in a polka dot dress runs frantically along a dark waterfront. She stumbles, crying out in pain. She leans against a stone pillar, her face filled with worry. Elsewhere, two bikers face off in the night. One in a red racing jacket, his rival in black and white leather. Surrounded by a cheering crowd, a girl gets on the back of the rival's bike. Another approaches the biker in red, but suddenly the girl in the polka dot dress appears. She rushes towards the starting line, her eyes pleading with the biker in red. He looks at her, his face hardens with annoyance. The rival biker smirks at the scene. The biker in red says something sharp, causing the girl's face to fall. He turns his back on her, the crowd jeers, but she stands her ground, her expression shifting to one of sheer determination. He ignores her, pulling on his helmet and revs the engine. He stops suddenly, looking back. He gestures for the girl on his bike to get off. She steps away, confused. The biker turns back to the girl in the polka dot dress and holds out a helmet. An invitation? She stares in disbelief, then takes it. The girl packs a first aid kit, but her mother stops her at the door, her face etched with worry. The mother pleads with her, but the girl's expression hardens with resolve. She walks past her mother, determined. Later at school, a group of boys corners her on a metal staircase. Suddenly, the boy appears at the top of the stairs, his face bruised. He looks down at the scene with cold indifference. The bullies see him and immediately run away in fear. The girl looks up at him, surprised and relieved. He walks down the stairs and stops in front of her, leaning in close. His gaze intense. He says something sharp, then turns to leave, but she stops him. Taking out a cartoon band-aid, she gently applies it to his bruised cheek. He freezes, stunned by her kindness. Years later, at a wedding reception, the girl watches them, smiling. But the boy suddenly appears at the door, a white headband tied around his forehead. He throws yellow funeral money into the air. The groom shouts at him in rage. The mother looks on in horror. In a flash of fury, the boy shoves the champagne tower, sending glasses crashing to the floor. He turns to the girl, his face twisted with pain and anger. He spits cruel words at her. Then, she flinches, as if slapped, completely heartbroken. The girl gets on the back of the boy's motorcycle. He puts his hand over hers on his waist. The two bikers speed down a dark, winding road, neck and neck. The girl shouts something in his ear, accelerating and pulling ahead, leaving his rival in the dust. Later, at home, she tries to talk to the boy, but he cuts her off with a cold stare. He turns his back on her, and her smile fades, replaced by hurt and confusion. He walks away, leaving her standing alone next to his bike. Back inside, the boy, now in a black tank top, stands defiantly as his father yells at him. The father raises a hand to strike, but the girl rushes forward, shielding the boy with her own body. The father's hand freezes mid-air. The boy stares at her, his expression a mixture of shock and something else. They sit on a couch in a cluttered room. He speaks dismissively and she looks down, her expression unreadable. He turns away from her, but she touches his leg, getting his attention. She pulls a pack of cigarettes from his pocket and he looks at her, surprised. She holds up the cigarettes, a silent question in her eyes. He scoffs, grabbing a cigarette and lighting it defiantly. She takes a cigarette from the pack, the find, and lights it, her hand trembling slightly. She brings it to her lips, taking a hesitant drag, and immediately starts coughing. Just then, her mother walks in. The girl panics, dropping the cigarette and a cup of water. The boy sits alone in his cluttered garage, wincing as he tends to the cuts on his arm. The girl arrives, carrying a first aid kit. She walks in cautiously. He glares at her, gesturing for her to leave, but she ignores him. Sitting down and opening the kit, he says something cruel, his face contorting with anger, but she doesn't flinch. Instead, she takes out a cotton swab and gently begins to clean the wounds on his shoulder. He watches her, his expression slowly softening. She leans in and blows softly on the cut. He freezes, his eyes widening in surprise, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. He says something harsh again, and this time, she looks up, hurt visible in her eyes. He leans in close, his gaze intense, and says something that makes her drop the medicine in her hand, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. A girl in a denim dress sits in a cafe, anxiously checking her phone. Outside, the boy sits on his red motorcycle, watching her through the window. She texts someone, a frustrated look on her face. He pulls out his own phone and types a message. Just then, another boy enters the cafe. He smiles warmly at her, and she lights up, greeting him with a hug. The boy on the motorcycle watches them, his expression turning to stone. He peels the band-aid off his cheek, starts his bike, and rides away. Later, the girl sits in a design studio, looking glum. Her friend tries to cheer her up, but she just sighs, revealing that the boy has a girlfriend. Her friend is shocked, but the girl just stares into space, a look of quiet resignation on her face. The girl wakes up in bed, sunlight streaming through the window. She checks her phone, a mischievous smile spreading across her face. She gets out of bed, goes to her closet, and pulls out a stylish denim dress. She gets ready, a look of excitement in her eyes. She leaves the house, looking confident and happy. But as she walks out the front door, she finds the boy waiting for her, leaning against a wall. He looks her up and down, a smirk playing on his lips. He says something that makes her flinch, her confident expression faltering. He grabs her shoulder, stopping her from leaving. He asks her a question, and she answers defiantly, but he just scoffs, dismissing her words. He offers her a ride, but she refuses. He insists, and she finally gives in. But before they leave, she takes out a band-aid and gently places it on his cheek. He looks at her, a flicker of surprise in his eyes, but then he brushes it off, his expression turning cold again. The boy stands in a hallway, refusing to let the girl pass. Another boy tries to intervene, but the boy grabs him by the collar, his eyes blazing with fury. He tells the girl to go with the other boy, then turns and walks away. Later, at an outdoor party, the boy sits alone at a table. While his friends drink and laugh around him, the girl stands in the background. One of his friends playfully tries to get him to drink, but he pushes him away. The girl approaches, holding out a small white box. He takes it and opens it to find a crumpled piece of paper, a note from his late mother. His expression softens, a flicker of pain in his eyes. That night, the boy stands in his living room, his father yelling at him. The father throws a book at him, and it lands on the floor. The boy's face is a mask of cold fury. The father walks out, and the girl, now in a different outfit, kneels down to pick up the torn pages. She carefully pieces them back together, her face filled with sorrow. The girl sits in her design studio, her friend trying to comfort her. She looks down at her phone, a calendar reminder for the boy's birthday. Her friend encourages her to go to his party, but she hesitates. Elsewhere, the boy and his friends are confronted by a teacher. The teacher scolds them for their behavior and confiscates the boy's motorcycle keys. The boy's friends try to argue, but he stops them. A look of cold defiance on his face, the girl suddenly appears. She pleads with the teacher, explaining that the motorcycle is a precious memento from the boy's late mother. The teacher relents, handing the keys back to the girl. She takes them, a look of relief on her face. She holds the keys out to the boy, a silent offering. He stares at her, his expression unreadable. She asks if she can come to his birthday party, and he looks at her. The girl stands before the boy, a determined look on her face. He refuses her offer, telling her it's too dangerous, but she insists, saying her parents told her to watch over him. He throws a can in frustration, but then gives in, telling his friends to keep an eye on things. The girl gets on the back of his motorcycle, a small smile on her face. He hands her a helmet, and they ride off into the night. They race against his rival, the two bikes speeding down a dark road. His friends watch from the sidelines, one of them on the phone with the boy, giving him information about the rival's bike. Suddenly, a car appears and attacks one of the boy's friends. The rival biker smirks, watching the chaos unfold. The boy's friend is on the ground, injured. The boy on the phone relays the news, his face filled with panic. The boy on the motorcycle hears the news, his eyes hardening with rage. He reaches back and takes the girl's hands, placing them firmly on his waist. The boy reads the note from his mother, his expression unreadable. The girl explains that she wanted to give it to him a long time ago. He looks up at her, then crumples the note in his hand, calling it trash. He turns to walk away, but she stops him, insisting that it's a blessing, not trash. Just then, the rival biker and his gang arrive. The rival taunts the boy, accusing him of cheating in their last race. He brings out one of the boy's friends, who confesses to putting nails on the track. The boy's friends are furious, but the rival just smirks, challenging the boy to a rematch. The boy accepts, but the rival adds a condition. Each rider must have a girl on the back of their bike. The boy refuses, but the rival taunts him, calling him a coward. The girl steps forward, her voice clear and strong, and volunteers to ride with him. The boy looks at her, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. The boy turns to walk away, but the girl stops him, jumping on his back and biting his shoulder. He cries out in pain. Surprised by her sudden aggression, she warns him not to give her a hard time anymore, or she'll bite him again. He calls her a dog, and she retorts that he's the real dog. She walks away in a huff, but he calls out to her, telling her she's going the wrong way. She ignores him, walking down a dark street, talking to herself, trying to build up her courage. She checks her phone, looking at a map, then sits down on the curb, defeated. Suddenly, a car pulls up, and the boy from the cafe leans out, surprised to see her. He offers her a ride, and she gets in, grateful for the help. The boy on the motorcycle watches them drive away, a look of quiet heartbreak on his face. The rival biker wins the race, and his friends cheer wildly. The boy pulls his motorcycle to a stop, taking off his helmet with a frustrated sigh. The girl asks him why he slowed down, but he just says he couldn't take the risk. His friend rushes over, explaining that the rival tampered with the bike. The girl is shocked, realizing the boy lost the race to protect her. The boy is furious and lunges at the rival. A brawl breaks out with the boy and his friends outnumbered. The girl watches in horror as the boy is beaten to the ground. She screams for them to stop, shouting that the police are coming. The rival's gang scatters, leaving the boy bruised and bleeding on the ground. He struggles to his feet, his face a mask of pain and anger. The girl rushes to his side, but he pushes her away, telling her to stay away from him. He says they're from different worlds, and she's not fit to be his lucky girl. He walks away, leaving her heartbroken and alone. The girl gives a gift to the boy from the cafe, and he thanks her. The boy on the motorcycle watches from a distance, his face a mask of jealousy. He lights a cigarette and walks down the stairs with his friends. The girl and her friend stand on a balcony, watching him go. Her friend tells her that her bite mark must have had an effect, and sends her a link to a romantic movie. Later that night, the girl sits in her bed, watching the movie on her phone. She gets a message from her friend, telling her not to watch it on the big screen, but it's too late. She's already connected her phone to the TV. Suddenly, the movie starts playing on the TV in the boy's room. He's watching it, confused. The girl rushes into his room, trying to stop him, but he just smirks. He grabs the remote and turns up the volume. He walks over to her and cups her face in his hand. His gaze intense. He asks her what she's trying to do, and she stammers, trying to explain that it was an accident. He just smiles. The girl sits in her design studio talking to her friend. She explains that she messed things up with the boy and bit him out of frustration. Her friend is shocked, but then smiles, saying that the bite mark is a good thing. The girl looks at her, confused. Later, she gives a gift to the boy from the cafe. He thanks her, and she smiles. The boy on the motorcycle walks by with his friends and sees them together. He lights a cigarette. Her friend points out that the boy's girlfriend is with him, and the girl's smile fades. Her friend tells her that her bite mark has had an effect, and that the boy is now paying attention to her. She gives the girl a link to a romantic movie, telling her to watch it for inspiration. The girl looks at her phone, a thoughtful expression on her face.